Please adhere to YouTube's selected guidelines before viewing the content of this video. I do not encourage or condone any products, actions, or behaviors shown in this video. All videos are produced in a safe, professional, and controlled environment. Please do not attempt to replicate any actions performed during the video. All actions are performed by professionals.
Alright, so today I'm going to be drinking white rum for the first time. Now, prior to making this video today, I thought that white rum was a specific style of rum with a specific manufacturing process that, in specific, was a lightly aged rum that was highly filtered and was predominantly meant for making mixed drinks. However, that thought process was wrong. There is really no overarching definition for white rum other than the fact that it's white/clear. There are white rums that are meant for mixing, there are aged white rums, and there are white rums that are meant for sipping straight. What I've got with me today is a bottle of white rum that is predominantly known for being a good mixer, not for sipping straight, but nonetheless today I am indeed going to be sipping this rum straight, and I'm going to be letting y'all know just what I think of white rum for the very first time. Just how good or just how bad will this new style of rum actually be? Well, I don't know, but I'm very excited to find out. Let me tell y'all what. But what is the bottle I've actually got with me today? Well, what I've got with me today is the Plantation 3 Stars Rum, which contains a blend of rum from Barbados, Jamaica, and Trinidad that was then bottled in Barbados itself. This rum cost me $19.98 at my local liquor store, and for that price, I got 750 milliliters of rum with an ABV of 41.2% / a proof of 82.4, which is a really weird alcohol percentage, I will acknowledge. But that just makes me all the more curious to find out how this stuff actually is. I do suppose without further ado, we should probably go ahead and quickly cover the look of the bottle itself. Then after that, I should probably go ahead and get the plastic all off, get the cork all out, smell white rum for the very first time, and once I'm done doing that, I'm thinking I should probably pour some in my glass I've got with me today and actually get to drinking white rum for the very first time. After I take a couple sips, whether I enjoy it or not, I'm then going to go ahead and pour in some Coca-Cola after letting y'all know just what I think of drinking white rum straight and just what it tastes like as well. And well, after I poured some Coca-Cola, I'm going to let y'all know just how good this stuff is as a mixer as well. But first off, as said, we've got to go over the look of the bottle, which starts off very thin at the top, gets a little bit thicker, and then gets a little bit thinner, and then it gets a little bit thicker once again, until it tapers down to a pretty regular sort of size at the very bottom down here. We can see there is black plastic wrap at the very top, and there is a little bit of a gold wheel up there, and there are some other gold details on either side right there as well, along with a pull tab right there, which I'm not going to pull too much as at this point in time. Taking a look on the fatter part of the bottle, we can see there is a logo right here just on the glass itself, or in the glass itself, I guess is really the right way of putting it, because this is indeed recessed into the glass. So this is part of the design of the bottle itself, which is pretty nice. And I do suppose this is the Plantation bottle design, or Plantation brand logo, not bottle design, but, well, it is the bottle design, but it's more the brand logo than anything, I think, at least. I could very well be wrong. I don't really know all that much about Plantation as a brand, I will acknowledge. But what I do know is that under this little bit right here, we go to the main label on the front of the bottle, which has an overall more, I'd have to say, mustard, light yellow / a little bit of a burnt yellow color to it. There are some darker areas like over here, but there's also some lighter areas like up here and whatnot. And in brown, it just says Plantation Rum right there with that, well, now, or actually, no, that's not brown. That's actually a sort of faded black, actually. I was wrong. That's not a brown. That's a faded black that kind of looks brown just because it kind of mixes in with the yellow background a little bit better than not. That is interesting. That was a trick on my eyes, I will acknowledge. But, you know, it just says Plantation Rum in a faded black with a faded black sort of logo right there. Once again, the same logo we saw up here. There's like some sunbeams going around. And then as a sticker on the label itself, it just has a white background with the 3 stars text right there. Just says Barbados, Jamaica, Trinidad, 3 stars, all in gold right there as well, just emphasizing the fact that this is a 3-star rum. And then it just has like a signature and says stuff about the blender and whatnot kind of thing. 750 milliliters, product of Barbados, and then it says the ABV right there as well. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, this packaging is really busy. Not just on the front of the label itself, but also on the back. I mean, like, look at how much there is. This is so busy that I'm just kind of like, I don't know if I really want to like read out all of this, because there's just so much to cover. There's just so much. Like, I like reading text on the back of bottles that kind of like gives me an idea of what to expect and what's going on with the history of the brand and stuff like that, but not this much. This is way too busy, and I have just completely lost all interest in what the back of this bottle says, just because there's so much. Like, they put way too much on the back of this bottle, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. We can see the barcode over here. We can see a warning label right there as well. And if you guys want to read over the text, I'm just going to go ahead and show it up close and personal. And I'm just going to rotate around the bottle right there, but I'm not going to read all of this off. This packaging, in my opinion, is way, way, way too busy. But that is what it is, and I do suppose that may have been what they were going for. It's not bad-looking packaging by any means. I don't think the label looks bad. It's just, if you ask me, far too busy. But as said, it doesn't look bad, and overall, I think it's pretty distinct on the shelf, and I think it looks pretty solid overall. It's just way too busy, as said. On the bottom, embossed in the glass right there, we can see it just says Plantation right there, of course, for the brand being Plantation Rum. It just says Plantation on the bottle and the bottom itself, so even if the label is ripped off, you still know exactly what you're getting. Maybe not the variety, but the actual brand itself. And that's pretty much all that's going on with the glass itself. Taking a look at the bottom, nothing really too much going on, and yep, that's all there is to the bottle design, pretty much, other than everything that I didn't want to cover. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get the plastic wrap all off now, and let's go ahead and see if I can get the cork out as well. Just trying to get this plastic wrap all off, if I can. Can I get it all off? There we go, there we go. I don't think I'm really supposed to take all of it off, but I did nonetheless. I think it definitely looks a little bit cleaner now with all of that off, and I'm gonna go and take it off the top as well. Just drop that onto the ground. Want to grab that real quick and put that in my backpack so I don't be littering. Let me go ahead and grab my backpack from the side over here, and let me just put my trash in my backpack because I don't want to litter plastic all over my backyard, I will acknowledge. So just go throw all that in there real quick, and now without further ado, I do think I want to go ahead and get the plastic cork all out, or the top of the cork is plastic, but the rest of it is actually cork. But I do think I want to go ahead and get this out and actually smell white rum for the first time. Now, one thing I do want to acknowledge before I do that, though, I have a mosquito repellent incense going on right now. It has a distinct smell to it, so my smell of this rum may be a little bit messed up, I will acknowledge, just because that is smelling as well at the very same time. But we're going to be trying to smell white rum and get a good idea of what it smells like nonetheless. Let's go ahead and get this cork all out, which came out very easily, but also sprayed my hand with a lot of rum. And just smelling it for the very first time, it smells, I will acknowledge, very mild. It really does smell very mild. And one thing I'm noticing, there's actually the Plantation logo right there and right there, actually in the bottle itself, like embossed in the, or no, actually recessed in the bottle. That's pretty cool. I like those little details. I am overall, yeah, wow, I am getting this is a very mild smelling rum, without doubt. It does not smell super heavy, super distinct by any means. I'd have to say I'm getting the smell of a very light, a very mild, sweet molasses with, I want to say, yeah, You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just pour this into my glass real quick, because I feel like that's going to give me a better idea of what this rum smells like. Because I feel like in the bottle, I'm not really getting the best idea of what it actually smells like. Okay, it is definitely more distinct in the glass now. In the bottle, it was very much just that of a very mild sort of sweet, slightly alcohol-y, molasses, brown sugar sort of smell, in my personal opinion. In the glass, it is very much that of a, I'd have to say it's still very mild. And I'm very much getting the smell of... I'd have to say sweet, slightly very mild alcohol-y smell with undertones of a little bit of brown sugar, a little bit of molasses, and just a little bit of vanilla / cream as well, I want to say. Along with a little bit of aloe, or like aloe vera. I'm kind of getting a little bit of that as well, oddly enough. Very interesting, very interesting. Let me see if that's really what I think the smell is like. Nah, I think I was a little bit wrong. I think the smell of this rum is more so than not that of a mild, alcohol-y, sweet smell with undertones of, yes, a little bit of brown sugar molasses, but not as significant as I might have implied, with really no sort of creamy vanilla smell going on. The main smell going on, besides the sort of mildly sweet, mild alcohol-y scent, really is that of a sort of aloe vera for some reason. Which is very interesting, I will acknowledge. I don't know if y'all saw that. If you blinked, you missed it. A bug just hit me in my face. What the hell was that about? I don't know what that was about, but some bug just hit me in my face. Wow, that doesn't happen all that often, but it's not the first time it happened. If I had a couple nickels for every time a bug has hit me in the face, I'd have at least 5 nickels. And on video, I'd have like 3 nickels. Yeah, very interesting. I'd have to say the smell of this rum, now that I'm kind of getting used to the smell a little bit, and now that I'm thinking it through, more so than I was previously, just because I've gotten more used to it, I'd have to say, yeah, no, the smell is very much that of a mild, alcohol-y, sweet smell with a little bit of... molasses, but mainly, I don't know, I'm still even not sure on the molasses / brown sugar anymore. It's very interesting. Huh. This smell, it's so mild, it's almost hard to tell what the actual smell is, especially with the incense going on. Incense and trying to smell stuff, oh man, it's a difficult challenge. But, in my opinion, yeah, I'm gonna have to say, I do think there is a little bit of molasses in there. It's very mild, though, and I'm going to have to say there's a little bit of brown sugar, but it's very mild, though. I'm going to have to say the smell of the Plantation 3 Stars Rum is very much that of a, yeah, mild, sweet, alcohol, aloe vera-like smell with then an undertone of, like, molasses and brown sugar. Very interesting and different smell than rum I've tried before, I will acknowledge. Definitely different. So far, white rum is definitely having a different smell than anything I've experienced from rum so far, which is really no surprise because all I've tried so far is rum that's aged in barrels, and of course the barrels are going to provide a certain taste and smell to the rum. But yeah, I do think without further ado, before I go ahead and actually taste white rum for the first time, before I go and actually get to drinking, I want to grab myself a little bit of a screenshot for the thumbnail of this video. So let's go ahead and do that real quick if I possibly can. Hopefully one of those will do. We will find out. Worst case scenario, I can always grab another one after this video. I can always grab another little bit of a screenshot after this video, I will acknowledge. I do think without further ado, it is now time for me to go ahead and actually get to drinking white rum for the first time, which I'm a little bit nervous for. I haven't drank any straight liquor in a minute, I will acknowledge. But without further ado, let's take a sip and let's find out just how good or just how bad this stuff actually is. Yes, sir, you know what I'm saying? Ooh. My throat is on fire. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, my throat is on fire. Okay. Yeah, very spicy. Very, 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 very spicy. You can definitely tell this stuff is not aged. It has not smoothed out with age. Definitely, the more age a rum has, in my personal opinion, generally speaking, the smoother it gets. Of course, not a catch-all definition. But generally speaking, with rums I've tried, the more they're aged, the smoother they are. Appleton 12 is smoother than Appleton Signature, for example, of course. This is a white rum. This is very lightly aged. It is not an aged white rum. This is a little bit rough. A little bit rough. But taste-wise, it's definitely got something to offer. Now, what it has to offer, I still have to figure out, but it definitely has something to offer. The flavor I got from that very first sip, besides the spiciness, was that of a sweet, smooth, almost, it was that of a sweet and smooth flavor with that spiciness. And overall, mouthfeel-wise, texture-wise, it was very much that of a more sort of syrupy thing, I'd have to say. Well, one thing I can definitely say, this stuff is far better than Bacardi Gold. It is like 10 times better than Bacardi Gold, even though this is not a rum that I think I would really want to sip straight a lot. This is definitely, in my opinion, I'm like, you can sip this rum straight, without a doubt. Personally, for me, I would not really want to, though. But even though this rum is a bit rough, it is a rum that you really might not want to sip straight. It is nonetheless a rum that you can sip straight, and is actually not bad to sip straight either. It is far better than Bacardi Gold, which tastes like chemicals. Bacardi Gold is horrible, my least favorite alcoholic product I've ever tried, and that is saying a lot because I've tried a decent amount of alcoholic products these days, I will acknowledge. Definitely, though, this is interesting. Of course, it's got to taste like rum. But I'm used to rum that also has a flavor from the barrels it's been put in as well. And while this rum definitely has not too dissimilar of a flavor, it's not exactly the same either. And it just feels like, as somebody who's only ever tried aged rum that's been put in barrels, it just feels like this rum is missing something, and that's the age. That's the taste of the barrel. I would have to say, overall, I am getting a... And what's interesting about this rum is that the alcoholiness is actually not insanely pronounced. It's really the spiciness that gets you the most alcoholiness, quote unquote. But it's not like you take a sip and you're overwhelmed by, oh my God, it just tastes like pure alcohol. No, there's actually flavor to it, which is really nice. It's just the spiciness that kind of overwhelms you. I'd have to say, overall, the flavor I'm getting is very much that of a sweet, I'm going to have to say, like very light brown sugar molasses like flavor with a little bit of caramel and a little bit of vanilla, like a little bit of vanilla, caramel, brown sugar molasses. Maybe I should have taken a look at the back of this bottle. I was being a bit impatient because I was like, I don't want to cover the entirety of this back of the bottle. There's just so much to cover after all. But maybe they do cover kind of what is going on with... it does have the tasting note. So it says, on the nose, the Plantation 3 Stars displays a delicate note of tropical fruits intertwined with brown sugar and ripe banana. Vibrant and well-balanced on the palate, it displays subtle spices and floral notes, finishing with sugarcane and vanilla. Well, I definitely have to say I'm getting sugarcane. I'm definitely getting vanilla. There's definitely not so subtle spices, without a doubt. And floral notes, I'm not really noticing banana, I'm not really noticing, but definitely I'm getting some brown sugar. Huh, interesting. Interesting. All right. Now that I've read over that, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, it's interesting that there's definitely, I would have to say that vanilla-like flavor, that sort of creamy vanilla-like flavor I described previously, is almost out of a banana-like flavor. And that sort of caramel-like flavor, almost out of a banana-like flavor too. So that banana-like flavor is kind of like vanilla caramel at the same time. Floral flavor, I might be getting a little bit of a sort of like aloe-like flavor, and that might be what that floral flavor is. Certainly doesn't taste bad, and it kind of tastes like the smell of aloe, and I think aloe tastes, not tastes good, I've never had aloe taste-wise, but I think aloe vera like smells good personally. Quite like the smell of it. And then it also mentioned sugarcane and vanilla. Yep, I'm tasting that. Subtle spices, they're not so subtle. Floral notes, that's probably the aloe. And brown sugar and ripe banana. Yeah, no, very interesting, very interesting. Okay. Maybe I should have read over the tasting notes before this. I was a bit impatient, I will acknowledge. It's my bad. But, yeah, okay. Yeah, spicy. Overall, taste-wise, the main amount of flavor I'm getting from this rum is that of spiciness, frankly put. The spiciness itself is a little bit sweet from the flavor of the rum, and it comes across as being very much that of a more bakery spice rather than being a peppery spice like some other rums and other alcohols can come across like. So I'd have to say the spiciness you really get in the back of your throat when you're sipping on this rum, it's more of a bakery spice sort of flavor if you ask me. And overall, the flavor of this rum is very much that of a sweet, mildly alcohol-y, predominantly spicy flavor with undertones of, I would have to say, vanilla and caramel with an undertone of banana, then with a little bit of brown sugar molasses, and then after that, I'd have to say there is just a little bit of that floral sort of taste that I personally think is more respective of aloe vera than any other sort of floral flavor. And that's very much what the flavor of this rum is, if you ask me. Yeah, overall, a spicy, sweet, alcohol-y rum with, yeah, vanilla, caramel, banana, aloe vera, brown sugar molasses, and anything else I want to mention? Maybe a little bit of some other fruits as well, like pomegranate or something like that kind of thing. Maybe some other like sort of citrusy fruit. So there's a little bit of other sort of citrusy fruit taste going on in there. That's very much what the flavor of the Plantation 3 Stars is. Honestly, I gotta admit, I heard that this rum was mainly a mixer, and I still think that I'm gonna be using this rum as a mixer. It's just too much for me to drink straight, I'll acknowledge. However, if you absolutely want to, you can absolutely sip Plantation 3 Stars straight. No issue at all. No issue at all. You can absolutely sip it straight. Is it a rum that I would personally want to sip straight all the time? No, it is not. It is a bit too burning in the back of my throat for me. However, it is nonetheless, in my opinion, a solid rum. And I gotta admit, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I honestly, I mean, like, I was very excited to try it, but I was very nervous at the same time because I thought it was going to be insanely harsh, and I thought that it was going to be way too much to drink by itself. But it's not. It's not way too much to drink by itself. it's actually pretty reasonable to drink by itself. Not nearly as smooth as something like, let's say, Appleton 12, but I'd honestly have to say smoother than Appleton Signature, which is very interesting. Smoother than the Mount Gay Eclipse to drink straight, in my personal opinion, and about the same as, I wouldn't say about the same, but a little bit less smooth than Mount Gay Black Barrel. It's overall very surprisingly smooth, has a nice flavor that is very mild, I will acknowledge. Hence why I think people are saying that this is a rum that is really good for mixed drinks, not because it's actually really rough to drink on its own, which is what I thought initially. I think people say that instead because the flavor itself is so mild and it's going to complement so many different things. Like, I think this flavor could complement Coca-Cola. I think it could complement Dr. Pepper. I think it could complement, maybe not root beer. I just don't think it would be really good with root beer. I think there's better rums for that. But I think it could be really good with a lot of different things and a lot of different mixed drinks. I think that this would be really solid for a, what is it? For a, not mimosa, for a, what's the mixed drink that's made with mint and rum and stuff like that kind of thing? I can't remember. Is that a mimosa? No, I think it might be. I can't remember. I think it would be really good in one of the minty rum cocktail drinks as well. I see why people say the Plantation 3 Stars is a good mixer, and it's not because it's so rough to drink on its own you don't want to. It is instead because it's so mild that it's going to mix with anything really well, but then the flavor might still shine through, and it's going to combine really well with a lot of different things. That's why this is such a good mixer. Very interesting. I have garnered a new respect for rum with this video today, and I have garnered a respect for this rum as well. This definitely seems like it's going to be a great mixing rum, but even though I think it's going to be a great mixing rum, it is a surprisingly good rum to sip straight as well. I think I'm going to take one more sip, go inside, go to the bathroom. I'm going to grab myself my bottle of Coca-Cola from the freezer. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and mix some Coca-Cola into this glass and find out just how good the Plantation 3 Stars actually is as a mixing rum for the very first time. I think it's going to be good, but will it actually? I don't know. Looking forward to finding out. Yeah. I will acknowledge, sipping liquor straight, not my forte though. But certainly not bad, and it has a nice flavor. If it was just a little bit smoother, I'd actually really enjoy drinking it straight, I will admit. But I think without further ado, it is now time for me to go ahead and go to the bathroom, and I think it's time for me to go and grab my bottle of Coca-Cola. So I'm gonna go do that real quick. I will be back in just a moment. It's gonna be like 2 seconds for y'all, but it's gonna be like a minute or two for me. I'll be back. Alrighty, y'all, we are back. Feeling great now that I've gone and taken a piss, I will acknowledge. I needed to take a piss since like 5 minutes into this video. We ball, you know what I'm saying? We ball. Piss was pretty solid overall. Solid 4 out of 4 piss in my personal opinion. I'm a little bit buzzed, hence why I don't mind talking about this, I will admit. But I think it's time for me to go ahead and make myself my first ever rum and coke made with a mixture of, in specific, white rum and Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola has their thingamajig going on with like they're doing like names on the front of the bottles and stuff like that. I didn't want the bottle that said Jennifer on it, so I went for the bottle that says greatest of all time instead. Because you know, Coca-Cola, greatest of all time. Gotta be ballin', you know what I'm saying? Gotta be ballin'. And they're basically just trying to toot their own horn with this, I'm not gonna lie. But, without further ado, let's go ahead and get my Plantation Rum opened up once again, which I don't even think Plantation Rum is called Plantation Rum anymore now that I think about it. I forgot to mention that. I think it's called like Planetary Rum now or something along those lines. I can't remember. But I'm going to go and pour... Oh, wow, that was a lot of rum. That was a lot. Okay, well, we're really going to be testing how good this stuff is as a mixer. Because that was a lot of rum. That was way too much. Let's go and get my... very nice, very cold bottle of Coca-Cola. We can see, ooh, yes, very cold. Got a lot of condensation on it. Can get this opened up. And let's go and pour some in, mix it up, and drink my rum and Coke. Oh, I had this in the freezer for so long it actually started freezing. Oh, wow. I was like... There's like a piece of like something on the side of it. I don't know what. I didn't notice that. Did a bug just hit the side of my hair? I'm getting all distracted today, I will acknowledge. I didn't realize I left this in the freezer for so long, it literally started to freeze. So I'm just getting all the... it's splattering all over me. Okay, I'm gonna hold that a little bit far back. Well, for all of those who are saying that my rum and cokes need ice, now I have ice. Made out of Coca-Cola. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about, you know what I'm saying? Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. I got ice in my drink today, but it ain't ice made out of water. It's ice made out of Coca-Cola. We ball, you know what I'm saying? We're just built different. Without further ado, let's go ahead and actually mix this up real quick because I haven't mixed this up yet. And now that I've done that, let's go ahead and take a sip of my first ever rum and coke made with white rum. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? Overall, wow. I will acknowledge, a lot of times, in my opinion, that the main part of the Coca-Cola that really does a good job of covering up the flavor of the rum, but also combining with it, is really the carbonation. Now, I messed up with this bottle of Coca-Cola because I put it in the freezer and then it started to freeze, which then got rid of all the carbonation because carbonation doesn't really last when it's frozen, now does it? So the Coca-Cola I have in my glass right now is really not carbonated at all, in all honesty, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but it is what it is. However, the rum just mixes great with it. I'm not getting any sort of an alcohol-y ick from it. Maybe I will towards the bottom, but not at the very top at least. Yeah, definitely the more I sip, the more I'm noticing just a little bit of alcohol, but maybe it's because I've already been drinking a little bit. But I'm not really getting a sort of alcohol. Whoa, that's got a bunch of alcohol right there. And it's just mixing really well with the Coca-Cola. Even better than something like, let's say, the Appleton Signature or the Mount Gay Eclipse, honestly. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. Wow. Now, definitely the more I drink, the more it gets a little bit more alcohol-y, especially as you're getting towards the bottom. There's a little bit disappointment that this does not have any carbonation. It's my bad for leaving it in the freezer for too long. I think I left it in the freezer for like 3 hours, and the freezer is set to like, I think like 24 degrees or something. So it is set pretty low. But, or it doesn't have an exact degree. That's just a guess of mine. I don't think I'd last very long if I was shoved in the freezer. I'd probably freeze to death. It is the freezer after all. But, it's cold. It's freezer temperature. It's probably like below freezing. I'm thinking 24 degrees. It's just a guess. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'm just guessing. It's a shame there's no carbonation because I did accidentally freeze some of the Coca-Cola, but I ain't stressing. Overall, very solid. I gotta admit. The Plantation 3-star is most certainly a solid mixing rum. I will acknowledge. I'm gonna have to say it. The Plantation 3-star is indeed a solid mixing rum. That is my personal opinion. This is a solid mixing rum, and while it is not, in my opinion, the best rum to sip straight, you can sip it straight, and if you do, you're probably going to enjoy the flavor you get, as long as you can get past that spicy flavor. Overall, Plantation 3-star for $19.98 at my local liquor store. Solid mixing rum. Solid sipping rum, if you can get past the spiciness, excuse me. It's got a nice depth of flavor as well, I will acknowledge. A surprisingly good depth of flavor. And an interesting flavor as well. No, the Plantation 3-star, honestly, you know, I'm going to have to give it 3 out of 4 stars. I'm going to have to give it 3 out of 4 stars. As the name implies, it deserves 3 stars. 3 out of 5? No, I'd actually give it 4 out of 5 stars, but since my rating scale is on a scale of 1 to 4, I'm going to give it 3. 3 for me just simply means, okay, this is something that I'd buy again, without a doubt, and I definitely would buy the Plantation 3 stars again, not for sipping straight, but for mixing into drinks, especially since it's only $20, like just under $20, 2 cents under $20. I would definitely buy it again. I enjoyed drinking it. It's not like the most insane thing in the world. It's not like the best thing ever kind of thing, but I definitely buy it again. I definitely drink it again, and I'm definitely going to enjoy drinking the rest of the bottle. And that's what being a 3-star for me means. It's not like, okay, this is the best thing in the world. That's a 4 out of 4. But a 3-star is just like, man, this is good. I enjoy it. I'd buy it again. That's a 3-star for me. And the PlayStation 3 stars deserves 3 out of 4 stars in my personal book. So it's getting 3 out of 4 stars. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. And that's my personal rating for the Plantation 3 stars, I will acknowledge. Yeah. Yeah. No complaints on my behalf. I have overall quite enjoyed this experience today. The Plantation 3 stars has been quite the interesting drink to have. I will acknowledge more interesting than I initially thought it was going to be. I honestly thought the flavor was going to be not really all that. I really didn't think there was going to be all that much going on with flavor. It's predominantly known as a mixing drink after all. And if it's just a mixer, why would it have all that much distinct flavor? But it actually does. It's very mild, but there are flavors in there. I will acknowledge my expectations have been exceeded enormously by this liquor. And overall, you know, if I'm looking for a rum for any mixed drinks, honestly, I need to try Mai Tai. I definitely want to try a mojito on video for the first time. Eventually, I want to mix myself up a mojito. You know, I think the Plantation 3 star is going to be a really easy pick for any of those. I've never tried a Mai Tai. I don't know if Plantation 3 star is good in Mai Tais. Take what I say with a grain of salt. But just for anything that I would want to mix it with a white rum rather than an aged rum, I think the Plantation 3 stars is going to be the go-to for me. In all honesty, it's a really good mix in rum. Just frankly put. And overall, nothing crazy in rum and cokes, by any means, I will acknowledge. In my opinion, the Appleton 12 is better in a rum and coke. The Mount Gay Black Barrel is better in a rum and coke. And there are other liquors that are better in rum and cokes, or rum and coke-like drinks. But the Plantation 3 stars is not bad in a rum and coke either, in my opinion. Overall, solid stuff that I have enjoyed having today. Yeah. As said, very, very, very solid 3 out of 4 for the Plantation 3 stars rum. Have I had a good time drinking white rum for the first time today? I'd have to say I have. And it definitely got better once I actually started drinking. No complaints on my behalf. I feel like a 45-year-old white mother saying that her afternoon got better once she started drinking. That's what I feel like right now. I feel white girl wasted, you know what I'm saying? Good times. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video. I think that's just about all I had to say. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys think I missed anything with this review. If you guys think that I did, let me know what it is in the comments down below. And of course, also make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Excuse me. I have my Instagram, my book, my merch, my website, all in the description down below. And also make sure to let me know what you guys think of the Plantation 3 stars in the comments down below. If you guys have tried it before, was what I said today accurate? Was it not? Let me know. Appreciate y'all watching. I got a nice buzz going. Y'all are drinking along. Hope y'all got a nice buzz going as well. Until the next one, stay safe and peace, and have a great one. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying?